In fact, segment tonight, two big political stories today. First, Donald Trump continues putting pressure on companies who want to move jobs overseas. In fact, he threatened General Motors for making a car in Mexico. Also, Ford announced it is canceling a $1.6 billion factory it was going to build in Mexico. The other big story politically is Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer threatening President-elect Trump.
We will hold President-elect Trump accountable to the values that truly make America great. But we'll fight him tooth and nail when he appeals to the baser instincts that diminish America and its greatness.
Joining us now from Austin, Texas, Karl Rove. So Senator Schumer wants to hold up, delay a bunch of Trump's cabinet appointees. Is that correct?
Yeah, this was pretty much a boilerplate speech today where he said we're going to define what the values are by which we're going to judge Donald Trump. If we agree with him, we'll help him. If we oppose him and we disagree, we'll oppose him. This was sort of standard stuff. What's more dangerous is that the Democrats have announced that there are 8 appointees, 8 nominees of President-elect Trump to the cabinet that they're going to oppose and delay them as long as till March. Now, this is just obstructionism, pure and simple. This is an attempt to make it difficult for him to put together a government, make it difficult for him to take early actions in some critical departments, and it is an obstructionism that's jaw-dropping, particularly if you look back at the historic record. Here's what happened with President Obama came in. Did the Republicans obstruct? No. Did they ask tough questions? Yes. But think about this. Within 2 days of being sworn into office, 7 of his cabinet members had been approved, 6 of them on voice votes. One of them was approved, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, 94-2. A couple of days later, they approved by voice vote on the 23rd, the Transportation Secretary. On the 26th, Tim Geithner, who had not paid his taxes and had to undergo a rough confirmation fight, he was approved on 60-34. Basically, within 1 week of the president being sworn in, HUD secretary, within 8 days. 10 of the 14 that had to go through confirmation were approved within basically 8 days of the president being sworn in. 2 more were approved in February. One of them was delayed until late February because Hilda Solis, the labor secretary, her husband had not paid taxes. And then we had 2 of them that were completely President Obama's fault. The Commerce Secretary in March, because he went through 2 cabinet secretary nominations that had to be withdrawn before he finally got the 3rd one. And then finally the HHS Secretary, Sebelius. Remember, Tom Daschle had to withdraw himself for not having paid taxes on the 3rd of February. She's nominated and approved of basically 5 weeks.
So, I mean, look, the point is that when President Obama took office, the Republicans didn't try to sabotage him.
Right.
It looks
Absolutely.
like Schumer and his crew is going to try to sabotage Trump. The question is, they can't stop these appointments like Sessions as Attorney General, so they just try to embarrass the president and the individual appointee. Just try to embarrass them, right?
Right, exactly, and draw it out so that, look, they don't want the White House to be coming out with a lot of initiatives and moving forward. They want them to, this is like a holding action. While Trump is trying to undo a lot of what Obama did and trying to repeal Obamacare and replace it and trying to get a tax cut through and tax reform, they want him tied down. That's why they're going after people like the Secretary of Treasury nominee, Mnuchin. That's why they're going after the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson. There are a couple that are payback. They're going after Betsy DeVos, the Education Secretary, because the Democratic Party is owned lock, stock, and barrel by the teacher unions, and she is a fighter for school choice.
Sure.
They're going after Puzder.
Right, so it's politics over country.
Yeah, politics.
Politics. All right.
Absolutely.
Let's get into the. It looks like Trump's going to be the strong man, and he's calling out GM for making a car in Mexico and trying to embarrass them. But, all of a sudden Ford says, you know what, we're not going to build a $1.6 billion plant in Mexico, and we're going to build it in the USA and all the jobs that come along with it. So it looks like being a strong man is working for Trump. at least in the beginning.
Well, maybe, except that, look, I accept that the Ford CEO today in his statement saying, look, we made this decision because it's in the best interest of our company. The facility in Mexico is unneeded. We're going to keep the small car production there, but we aren't selling enough of those cars, so we're not going to expand it. And we need to expand production in the U.S. of kinds of cars that Americans are buying.
Yeah.
But we got to be careful about this. GM, let's think about this. The implication is you're building a bunch of cars in Mexico and shipping them into the United States. That is fundamentally not true. In Lordstown, Ohio, there's a facility that since 2010, since being opened then, has made 1.3 million Chevy Cruzes. And in the United States, 1.1 million roughly have been bought. The other 200,000 were sold elsewhere, primarily in Canada. The facility in Mexico supplies the foreign market. We've had about 1.1 million U.S. purchases of Chevy Cruzes.
So why?
There have been 1.3 million.
The foreign market can be supplied in Michigan. And so what?
Well, maybe, but look, a couple of things. Mexico
I don't have
has
a lot
better
of time.
trade.
Wrap it up.
Mexico has better trade agreements with other countries than we do, and we can make that product in Mexico and sell it and bring the profits back to the U.S. when we couldn't make that product
doesn't
at
help
the same
the guys
price here.
that putting the tires on a car, Mr. Rove. As long as the strongman stuff doesn't get out of control, I think it's a good technique.
I think it's getting very close to it.